Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my weeks 35 and 36 pregnancy update. I have so much to update you on, especially if you haven't been watching my vlogs. Then there's a lot to fill you in on, a lot of symptoms and just a lot of insanity. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Week 35 was actually really uneventful, so we're just gonna skip right over week 35. The only thing that I'll mention, was that even week 35? No, it was week 36. Okay, yeah, week 35 was completely uneventful. Week 36, so the day I turned 36 weeks, it was last Thursday the 29th. And if you have watched my vlogs, then this will come as no surprise, but that day ended up being very eventful. That Thursday I taught dance. I'm a dance teacher if you didn't know. And that night around 6:45, I started experiencing some pretty intense contractions. And I just thought they were cramps or like, you know, like when something just doesn't sit right. So I had a little bit of a break in between my two classes, just kind of took it easy. And then, sorry, I'm also watching my toddler on the monitor as he attempts to fall asleep for a nap. Try during that break to, you know, sit in different positions, breathe in different ways. They weren't severe enough that I couldn't teach, so I taught my next class, finished around 9 p.m., started my drive home. As I was driving home, the contractions got so bad, and I was like just breathing, thinking like, just get me home, just get me home, just get me home. Finally got home. My hips felt like they were being pulled apart, like pulled apart. So in my head, I think like most people probably would have called the hospital and maybe have gone in, but in my head I was thinking like, okay, they'll either tell me to come in and check me, in which case like I don't know what the outcome could be, or they'll tell me to like sleep on it and call them in the morning if I'm still experiencing the same contractions. So I thought, all right, I'll lay down. If in a few hours in the middle of the night I'm still experiencing these contractions, we can go. I texted my family to just let them know. Obviously Jeff was home, so that was nice. So I went to sleep that night. Everything was fine, thank goodness. The next morning I woke up and I had some like light pink / red in my discharge. And after consulting with Dr. Google, I've like realized like, okay, that's not entirely abnormal, because of course my brain first went to like, oh, is it did my water break? With my first son, Hugo, my water started leaking and it was a light pink fluid. I wore a pad the whole day, saw the light pink fluid, and like then knew to call the doctor. So this was different. This was like in my actual like discharge, like so TMI, but I took note of it. Luckily, I put a pad in. Luckily, it didn't continue for the rest of the day. And I had a doctor's appointment that day anyway. So at 3 p.m., I went in for my doctor's appointment, told my doctor everything that I was experiencing, everything that I had experienced over the past few hours. She said, she was like, you didn't want to call and come in? Like, she was probably like, what is wrong with you? And I explained to her that like, you know, I don't know, I'm not an overreactor, and I didn't want to like, my brain never goes to like the worst case scenario, or like I always think in my head like of a checklist of things that I can do before like calling. So she said if this were to happen again, to please call and to come in. And I mean, mostly because they don't want me to go into active labor because I'm having a C-section. And she said, you know, there's no harm in laboring at home for hours, but because you're having a C-section, we don't want you to do that. She checked me. I was 1 centimeter dilated and 75% effaced. And so that also was a bit of a, again, like another point that she just didn't want me to labor at home, because I could go from, being that this is my second pregnancy, I mean, everyone's different, but she doesn't want me to go from 1 centimeter to 8 centimeters in a few hours, which is possible, and for them to not have enough time to prep the OR. So I walked away from that appointment like, okay, she, you know, like I feel like I have we had a bit of a game plan. We set up the game plan being that if I were to experience severe contractions again or anything out of the ordinary, that I would phone, we would go in, probably do the C-section either that day, or I would come in Wednesday, which is today, and have my follow-up appointment where we do the NST, so I believe that stands for neonatal stress test, and she would check me again to see if I had dilated any further, and if I had, and if I was still experiencing those severe contractions, then we would talk about moving the C-section date up. So that brings us to today. And today's appointment went really, really well. I had my neonatal stress test. She came in afterward and she said everything looked fantastic. I was so happy to hear that. And she checked me. I am still only 1 centimeter dilated, which is perfect. And so we are going to proceed with the November 18th C-section day. 2 weeks from today. I'm filming this on the 4th of November. So I'm really relieved. I'm really relieved. You know, I said immediately after in my weekly vlog that I would have been equally as happy if she had said like, oh my gosh, we have to do it today, like we have to get the baby today, or like maybe we should get the baby out on Friday. Like I would be equally as happy, but it's nice to know that he's doing fine and he's okay, and that we can wait until the 18th so that he gets more time to grow in there, and that like everything is looking great and perfect. And so that was just such a huge weight off my shoulders. I was so stressed out. And if you watch my vlogs, you'll have seen like from last Thursday to today, so for like the past 6 days, I've just been like so nervous, checking every single time I go to the bathroom. My mom had slept over a few nights just in case, like in the middle of the night, if I experience those contractions again. So it's been like a very overwhelming week 36, that's for sure. Let's talk about some of like my symptoms, because like while all of that was happening, I was also like, I was experiencing all these symptoms. And so a lot of them, like when you read the list of like early labor or like, yeah, early labor symptoms, these are all there, and I'm definitely experiencing a lot of them. The first one is an increase in discharge. Like I said, those last Thursday, I think it was last Friday morning and last Saturday morning, I experienced definitely an increase in discharge and like a slight pink in my discharge. And luckily that light pink has gone away. I think it was just irritation from the contractions on my cervix, but there's definitely still like, I'm still noticing more discharge than normal. Also definitely feel like he is lower. I don't think he's completely dropped yet, but his head is really low. And there are so many times where, especially during the night, like evening time, I'll say to Jeff, like, especially when I'm coming to stand up, I feel like I have to hold him in, like actively hold him in, or like he'll just fall out, which he won't, but like that's what it feels like. I have also been experiencing, and this is like, again, TMI and kind of gross, but I've definitely been experiencing like loose stool almost every day. And they say that like that's your body's way of kind of preparing you for labor. It's like your body will start getting rid of everything, and I've been experiencing that. Nothing insane or too intense, but that has definitely, like every day when you're pregnant, like it's also kind of hard to go to the bathroom, and it's not super common to go every single day. So the fact that like in the past week I've gone every single day has been like, oh wow, okay, like let's keep this on the radar. The other thing that I experienced, oh my gosh, was I got my first drop of colostrum. So my first little drop came out. I was so tired, and that's been like such a huge symptom the past week. I have been so fatigued by the middle, like by the afternoonish, like 2 o'clock. So tired. So tired. And one day, I guess it must have been a weekend because Jeff was home, I took a shower. I took a really long warm shower. It felt so good. And then afterward I was like, I need to lay down. So I lay down in bed with no clothes on, and I just like brought the blankets up to me, and I was just laying there, and all of a sudden I felt this like sharp pain in my left boob, and I looked down and a drop of colostrum had come out. And that like never happened to me with Hugo's pregnancy. Like I didn't get colostrum until like the day he was born. So I thought that was really exciting and definitely like, oh wow, okay, my body is like legit preparing for a little baby to come. I'm reading my notes. What else? This is like so, I wish this wasn't a symptom, but like I'm going to mention it to like help my fellow pregnant mamas out there, or if you're experiencing this so you don't feel so alone. I feel like I smell so bad all the time, like all the time. And it doesn't matter if I put on deodorant or perfume, I just smell. And like it's weird, like it's different smells than I'm used to, like, and I get nervous because I don't want it to be a UTI, I don't want it to be an infection, and so like I'm very much so on top of that, because I did have a very severe UTI that I had to be hospitalized for back in 2017. So that is definitely something that like is always at the forefront of my head, of my brain. I just smell everywhere. It's kind of gross. I'm sweating so much underneath my belly, like the fupa area, right underneath my belly, above my vagine. It's like so sweaty all the time. It's so gross and it smells. And like I even said to Jeff the other day, this is like really TMI. So like if you're a family member, you don't have to be watching this. But I said to Jeff the other day, I was like, I'm sorry, I feel like my vagina smells. Like I feel like I just smell. Like everything smells. Like, and like it doesn't matter if I shower every day. It doesn't matter if I like put on deodorant and perfume. Like I don't know if it's like I just reached a certain point where like now I'm just gonna smell weird. But there you go. That is my like super TMI symptom. Still so thirsty all the time. Like so thirsty all the time. I have to pee all the time. Like all the time, getting up a million times during the middle of the night to pee. What else? My swelling, weirdly enough, my swelling has actually gone down quite a bit. I haven't noticed, I mean, I'm still swollen, like my feet and my ankles and my hands, but I'm not as swollen as I was maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, which I think is a good thing. The headaches that I had been experiencing have kind of gone away. Today I have a little bit of a headache, but I think it's more just like got up early, didn't sleep great, you know, like that sort of a headache, not anything like too serious. Everything has been checking out at my doctor's appointments. Last week when I went to the doctor, I was 174, and today I was 176. So when I delivered Hugo, I was 178. So I have 2 weeks from today. I'm thinking I'm going to be the same, if not a tiny bit bigger. I wouldn't be surprised if when I have my C-section I'm like 180 or 181. That's where I'm thinking I'm gonna land, because my appetite has been freaking ravenous. You would think I'm back in my first trimester by like the amount of food that I'm eating and like how I'm hungry all the time. Like I've mentioned to you guys that I love bagels, and like I've been all about the bagels lately and just like wanting all the bagels, and that is still so true. But like I also want sorry, my refrigerator is just making a lot of noise. I just want everything all the time. I'm hungry all the time, and that's been really interesting to have to like counter, because I know that at this point like baby is putting on weight, baby should be getting bigger, but like I should not necessarily be like gaining tons of weight at this point. So I mean, I'm trying not to like make myself crazy about it, but that has definitely been the past week. I've just been so hungry. I mean, yeah, we finished putting together everything. So like when we had this scare last week about like me potentially going into labor and us like potentially having this baby any single day, which I still feel like could happen, so I'm glad we did it. But last weekend we got everything done. So we put together the snoo, we put together his whole like nursery setup in our room. Everything is done. Everything is done. Our hospital bags are packed, lists are made for all like the last minute stuff. So like truly he could come at any point, and I feel like we're so ready. So that makes me really happy. I do feel like he could come at any point and we would be set and ready to go. Still experiencing so much shortness of breath. It is still so hard for me to breathe, especially at night. And I think that's it. I think that's everything from the past 2 weeks. I have my last, I believe my last checkup next Friday. So I think my 37, maybe I could squeeze a 38-week update in. I'm not sure. My next update might be my last. But be sure that you are subscribed, because I will be doing, I'm sure, plenty of vlogs leading up to the birth, and then we'll be vlogging the birth like we did with Hugo. And if you want to keep up with me on a more, I don't know, in the moment update, follow me on Instagram. Let me show you my belly. That's the belly, 36 weeks. Alright guys, and that's it for my week 35 and 36 pregnancy update. This past 2 weeks were such a whirlwind. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy mommy and lifestyle content, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.